Aloha listeners and welcome to another episode of the Cape and Cowcast, the podcast for everything superhero and all that's awesome in between. I'm your host, it's Alex Burns here guys, so aloha once again from me. Today I'm joined with two regular members of Team Cape and Cow. Start with Mr. Steve Carter.
Hello.
And Mr. Sam Burns.
Hello.
Alright dude, it's going to be a jam-packed show today. As always, this is episode 30, so, whoa, don't know, that's like...
The big 3-0.
Yeah, big 3-0, man. That's when life begins, right? And all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, we'll see. But anyway, guys, a little bit about us. We are Cape and Cow. This is the team that is Cape and Cow. You can check us out here on our podcast, which happens every week. Sometimes we do 2 a week if we're feeling fruity or if there's something else going down. But by and large, it's pretty much once a week. You can listen to us on Podbean. That's capeandcow.podbean.com. You can check us out on iTunes and Stitcher as well if that's more your deal. We also have the YouTube as well. So hi if you're watching on YouTube. Cape and Cow Unlimited. More content as well. Sometimes we do extra vids that's sort of content that's not in the podcast, so check that as well. Make sure you like and subscribe. capeandcow.co.uk for everything: news, articles, reviews, previews, merchandise as well. You can pick up some Cape and Cow t-shirts. Steve's got one on today. Look at him, oh, so fetching, Steve. I like the colour. Yeah, it's a nice logo. Yeah, we'll check that out. But you can pick up all the merch there as well. It's capeandcow.co.uk, guys. I'm pretty sure that's my spiel over. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. We're going to commence the show now. It's a pretty packed show lined up. We've got Luke Cage on the horizon, some Suicide Squad buzz, Man of Steel 2, Superman 2, whatever's going down with that, and some serious listener questions. We've got some great feedback today, guys. And to be honest, in the wake of Suicide Squad, there's been a little bit of a decline in sort of big news, so we've defaulted to you guys to give us some serious content because we've had a few specials over the last couple of weeks. It's going to be nice to get in touch because we haven't managed to do the Q&A. But how's your week going, guys?
It's going fine, thank you very much.
I'm really happy. This hoodie's new. Just got it today. I'm really happy with
Congratulations.
it.
What is that? Burgundy, maroon?
Probably like a maroon.
Looks like a maroon.
I like it. Yeah. Where'd you get it from?
I can't remember.
Literally
Marks and Spencer's.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Marks and Spencer's.
Cutting edge news.
I bought some trousers from Marks and Spencer's the other week.
Really?
Yeah.
They good?
They fit.
Cracking.
Nice. So
Now that we lost all our audience.
Let's get on to the news, guys. Suicide Squad. Boom. Serious. Intense. Intense stuff going down at DC. WB, Warner Bros, man, they're in the mix as well. Again, we have a DC movie.
It's dividing the world.
It's not even dividing the world. I think it's just dividing fans and critics, isn't it? The professionals who are paid to review movies for a living and fans that obviously love this stuff and grow up with these characters and want to sort of love anything, you know, not without merit as well. You know, guys, check out our full thoughts on Suicide Squad in our last episode. It's a special. We enjoyed the movie, didn't we? You know, it has its flaws, but I think it's the same thing with Batman vs Superman. I know we didn't really rate that movie, but I think we understood some of the flaws that the critics were coming from. With this one, I agree with some comments that are coming out, but I feel they're being overly harsh, like really, really harsh, like judging this movie against sort of like the highest standard, and not even Marvel movies, just sort of like ensemble movies, like Oscar-winning sort of ensemble movies. It's just like, I don't know, or maybe guys, maybe we're just overthinking it in the movie, and maybe we're wrong, and it's just terrible. But where are you standing on this critical reaction to Suicide Squad?
Well, I think that it's the division between the people that get paid to watch films and the people that are going to pay to watch the films.
Yeah,
I think if the critics are enjoying, I've said it before, I think that there's an overwhelming amount of people now, maybe from the critic side of it, that just don't want to like DC and what they're putting out, or didn't want to enjoy this movie because of BVS. But I'm going to go see it again tomorrow, I think, Suicide Squad. Yeah. But everyone I've spoken to about it, my friend, all of them have been like, yeah, they said the same as us. It's a film of hit and misses, but they enjoyed it, and it wasn't a letdown. It was, they wanted more from it, but it's not. They didn't come out of it feeling, you know, like they'd wasted their time. So I think if that's what you're going, like, the reinvigoration after BVS, I think to start off with something like Suicide Squad, which isn't really that well known, really, the idea of like they could have been a lot better, but it could have been a hell of a lot worse, and it wasn't. It was a decent film.
Yeah, no, I'm just getting the impression that some of these critics and stuff like that, the ones that have panned it outright and everything like that, probably don't know much about the source material that this is like taken from and stuff like that. And places like, you know, Comic Book Movie, Superhero Hype, and places like that, they sort of absolutely raved about this film and everything like that when they first saw it. And I think it's just that that conflict of interest with people who actually know where this is sort of based on, and the people who have just coming at it and looking at it as a film.
It's the age-old argument though with superhero movies. On that point, Steve, it's like, should you have invested knowledge in these comic books before you go into a film, or is it a failing in the movie?
You think it's getting a bit too niche?
Well, yeah, sort of like if you have to go in reading, like Suicide Squad, like 15 years of more than that, of comic books to sort of process it and understand it. It's not an overly complex movie. It's like bad guys saving mission, Suicide Squad. It's like it's not barely anything happens sort of in the grand scheme of the film. The sort of plot, if you will, is just introducing characters and where these characters come from and how they interact with each other later on. So it's not like it's confusing or baffling in the same way that maybe Batman vs Superman was to these critics. I feel it did a better job of introducing the world than BVS because it kind of explained more as it was going on. This is where these characters come from. There was all this information on the screen. Very cool opening sequence. It's a really difficult one, man. Critics are there to inform and for people to decide whether they want to pay their hard-earned money on a night's entertainment at the cinema, and it's not cheap these days, like going to the cinema, you got to invest your time, invest your money. If you've got a big family as well, that's another thing, kids like superhero movies, so they want to know that they're going to go to a superhero movie that's not going to...
entertained.
Yeah, you don't want your kids coming out of the movie going, that was rubbish, because you feel like you sucky parent. I know I would, man. So, yeah, I can see where they're coming from. I do still feel that they're putting these sort of things under the microscope, and any misstep is really being pounced upon. I don't agree with any of the kind of sexist... political, like racist remarks. If anything, Suicide Squad's probably the most diverse
I don't understand
comic
where the
book
racist
movie we've
comments came
had.
from.
Very strange,
Really
man.
don't
I don't know. I really, it's bizarre, guys. Read some reviews, man. All the big outlets have them, and yeah, it's just a little bit baffling. But we come to the point. This movie's made bank again, very early on. I think it's looking at just under 300 million at the time of this podcast, dudes. It's a Thursday, so we're waiting on that second box office. If it's like BVS, that opens strong, but again, the drop off, it might be steep.
It was released globally, wasn't it? At the same time.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's still got a few places in Europe to release sort of later this week, and maybe a couple more. I don't think it's releasing in China at all because China's got their rules and stuff. Reasons.
A mate of mine's over in Greece, and he's there on like a little trip for a couple of months.
Holiday?
I know he's on like a... I'm not going to go into he's doing like a holiday camp trip basically, and it doesn't come out until I think the end of this month.
Okay, yeah.
So,
actually,
it's still,
I did see a couple of releases towards the end of August as well. So I mean, but you're talking about Greece, these smaller, countries like that don't really contribute as much to the box office. We're quite unique in Europe, the UK, that we actually quite a big boost to these sort of films, take it quite seriously. But I don't think there'd be too much of a leeway on that. But again, 300 million in just under a week, $300 million, guys. The budget is 140. I know they did additional reshoots, 10 million marketing campaign, depends how much they spent there. Say they anything from 50 to 100 million. They've kind of made their money back already. So it's that like they need to make another 300 on top to break even, their investment on top of it. And anything in terms of a profit is what's above that. Suicide Squad needs to get above 650 million really for it to be a success, and it's on track for doing that. But I think what Warner Bros are concerned about from a brand aspect is there's that $1 billion mark, that magic $1 billion number. I think everyone took for granted that Batman vs Superman was probably going to hit it. I certainly did. I just thought iconic characters, walk the floor with it. Doesn't even need to get great reviews. It turned out it got the harshest reviews possible. If it had got middle of the road reviews, I bet you would have crossed that $1 billion mark. So in terms of do critics matter, they probably do, to the tune of like $200 million per one of these movies. We'll find out. If Suicide Squad ends up with sort of like 650 to 750 million after making that initial sort of 30 million less than BVS, which it finished around 870 million, there'll be a number you can put on critics, man, because they pretty much got the identical sort of reaction from Rotten Tomatoes, because good word of mouth, it does generate buzz. We're not talking about Oscar fare with no advertising that's released in a select amount of theatres. If you've got a good blockbuster movie, traction, Jurassic World, where the fuck did that come from? Do you know what I mean? No one was expecting that to make. And then a couple of good reviews, all start streaming in, man. Good marketing job, because DC have got that covered. The marketing's on point because the films are opening so big each time.
Yeah.
It's Suicide Squad. No one really. The Joker and Harley Quinn, maybe. Iconic sort of characters in the trailer. Batman's in it for the briefest of seconds. You can't tell me he was a sway for checking it out. So they did a good job marketing. It will be interesting. What do you guys think? Do you think DC can continue down this road of poor reviews but okay box office, or what's got to change?
I think their ground might be coming, shrinking from beneath their feet. Because they know how to make a good trailer. They've done that for the past 2 films now. I just hope that's not a trend that continues. Like that, they just make sort of amazing looking films, and then when you actually, trailers.
Yeah.
And then when you come to actually see the final product, it's like half of it's missing, because that was one of the other comments as well, was that there was missing.
Yeah, well, there's this
from the trailer
studio rubbish and all that sort of stuff. Like, just look at Jared Leto's Joker, man.
Yeah, he's mentioned that there's like, what's it?
He can make a whole movie.
He can make a whole movie out of the footage.
No idea what's going on behind the scenes with those, but there's been a lot of sort of like Twitter buzz about how Leto's not really got along with the rest of the squad. I don't know anything about that, but you can understand he might have been a bit of a grumpy bump on tour if he'd seen the finished film and he's thought he was going to be in it a lot more. He's sort of having to say in interviews, it's more of a supporting role that I thought I was going to be. There's enough in there for a whole movie. Maybe he thought he was making a different picture. I'm not sure, but what do you reckon, dude?
I know, we've got, discarding the Dark Knight trilogy, obviously, with this DC universe that's happening now, you've had Man of Steel, which was, 2012, was it?
2013.
2013,
yeah.
So we had Man of Steel, and then we had BVS. Now we've had Suicide Squad that have all contributed to this, growing universe. Man of Steel was so-so, BVS wasn't great, and then Suicide Squad, which could have been better, but was a pleasing film. So there's something missing. Something quite crucial missing to them having an interesting story which kind of blows you away, and for it to be this really enjoyable cinema experience. I think all DC can do now really is learn and figure out what's worked from this film and what worked, and it's so simple, it was fun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have, BVS just wasn't a fun film, and it still wasn't really that fun. Just have a little bit of audience, and I think that's what they're trying to do now, and I think they're going to go down that route because Batman seems like he's going to be a lot more light-hearted. It seems like there's going to be a lot more joviality between characters. What happens between Aquaman and Batman and the trailer for Justice League. So no, I wouldn't say it's shrinking beneath their feet, but they've got to start delivering. I think Wonder Woman and Justice League have got to deliver. Wonder Woman has a little bit more leeway, but Justice League has got to be a really good film.
Yeah, because guys, the reality is you're talking critical reviews, and we're saying you can put a sort of number on it now by doing a bit of research on these movies that are all coming out. All of them have really, the word is they've done it well enough to warrant future movies, but they're not those big smash hits like the Dark Knight movies were, and the Avengers movies, and all of those sort of Marvel hits are. Captain America and Thor were middling towards the end, but since then, even Thor: The Dark World was a big improvement, and Captain Winter Soldier, well, say no more. And look at Guardians. So it's just, you have to compare these numbers because it's what keeps, that's why they make these movies. They're not just doing it to please fans. And at some point you have to realise what I think is missing in all of this is the audience reaction. How do they stand on it? It very much is the same sort of deal between the fans. I think they're quite split and divided. Same stroke you're saying, though, add fun. You can still tell a dark and dramatic story. By no means do I want to walk into a Batman movie and have Bruce Wayne turn into Tony Stark. For me as a fan, that won't work. And, there are concerns that we still have with Justice League, even after the initial trailer reaction, which we're still quite positive about. You can't really decide on it yet. We haven't seen enough. We've seen a great picture, though. Great poster of the League lined up. And it will be interesting to see how it pans out. But, I think, Cape and Cow, where we're concerned, I really enjoyed Suicide Squad. I liked Man of Steel when it came out. I respected it was a different take on the character. And we'll be talking more about Superman later on in the pod, guys, as well. So there's room for some development on that side as well. But yeah, I think you're right, Sam. Finding their feet, they're discovering what's working and what's not. And we said it before as well. They're doing it the quick way. This is the price, I think, for the corporate sort of cynicism that's in there. It's just we want it all now. We don't want to plod along. We need to catch up with Marvel. And I think critics are wise to that. These harsh guys that have worked in the industry and know it inside out. I think they can't help but maybe look at the spinning wheels of the studio cycle when they're reviewing a movie like this. The presumption that you want more, so you're introducing things faster and not taking time to establish things. So it's a trade-off, but we'll see how Suicide Squad winds up. Any predictions for its final box office?
I'd say 600, 650, something like that.
How long is a piece of string?
I'm going to be optimistic. I reckon, 666. just to be, it's in my head. I can see me checking it and sort of grimacing on Box Office Mojo, which is what I do with Batman vs Superman. I go there and I look at it and it's like 872 or something. I just sort of go, It really irritates me. Anyway, we spent enough time on Suicide Squad, guys. Check it out for yourself. Don't be one of those douchebags who diss the movie without even seeing it. Do not do that. Go check it out first. You know, you want to contribute, then contribute positively. Okie dokie, guys. On to some exciting and less divisive news. I don't think... wait, am I on the right thing? Yes, Luke Cage trailer. Yeah, man. So, boom. Sam, Steve, you guys...
So that's hit now.
Go for it, man. I need a break after that Suicide Squad. Drink my beer.
Well, it looks amazing, doesn't it?
It looks really, really good, yeah.
Yeah.
The end.
You guys are great. You guys are so well informed.
No, I mean, well, it's the new latest series that's going to hit Netflix, isn't it? And it looks like it's just going to be sort of a good old sort of something set in Harlem. It looks like sort of dark and gritty, sort of almost like a mobster film that he's going against or something like that. And yeah, the action looks great. There's some really good sort of set pieces as well, where, you know, graphic wise, someone's like punching his face and
oh, dude, I saw that.
Yeah, that was so good. What I'm really liking the look of this is that I know you got it a bit with Daredevil, but he's obviously still got that whole like magical element to it, and it's like still a bit like you know, like supernatural in a way, I guess. But with Jessica Jones, it was just that was like a psychotic thriller, right?
Yep.
Because it was just crazy. With Luke Cage, it just seems to be what I think The Defenders is like about, kind of. It's more just these guys where all this stuff's going out in space, like he's just trying to take back like a small block of New York.
It's going to be grounded.
It's going to be really cool, yeah. And it's literally just Luke Cage going around, like basically, excuse my language, just fucking shit up. Like, you know, like that's it. And it's going to be really fun because it seems like it's going to be just him going up against like mob bosses. And what I'm also interested in as well, I know they're going to expand on it because this is set before Jessica Jones, I think, a little bit before that, isn't it? The villain in it, I don't know, but there's a bit in it, he's like, everyone wants to be king and he's got like a crown behind him. Wouldn't it be cool if like the Kingpin was kind of like, this guy was maybe vying for something to do with Kingpin? Yeah, like I think that'd be really, really cool because obviously they're all going to connect. But no, Luke Cage is great. Same with Jessica Jones. Didn't know a lot about her. Don't know a lot about Luke Cage. Like not 100% on his like origin story either, but it's really good because these smaller side characters who aren't going to like fill movies, like movie like screens, like it just, you get to spend like 15, 16 episodes with them, and it's incredible. I really, really like it. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. Yeah,
I would love to see a lot more heroes developed in that sort of aspect of things, because you'd never be able to get a tale as complex as Jessica Jones out in 2.5 hours, or anything like that. So yeah, spending 13 episodes or whatever.
You know, they should do that. They should do that with Batman.
We've had enough, man.
Sorry, just really like Batman.
But yeah,
we see like the nurse is back in it again, isn't she?
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, she's just with everyone, isn't she?
Just everywhere.
Yeah,
just going to be like subtly referencing everyone else. I know someone who dresses in red.
Do you know what though? Having said that, I think her inclusion in the trailer, I actually think she's going to get a bit more sort of meat with this one. Whereas in Daredevil, she was very much, here's the introduction of the character. You know, she represented sort of the real world that Matt Murdock's trying to sort of save and everything like that, putting some real world perspective on it, which is great. She did the same thing, sort of at a fleeting in Jessica Jones. Yeah, but it was interesting. What I think she's going to be saying to Luke Cage is, like, not so subtly, like, I know a guy. Do you know what I mean? And when he's sort of looking for direction and answers about what to do with his strength, you know, she's going to be getting some ideas from that guy. And I think that'll be a really nice way of, whoa, maybe Daredevil inspires Luke Cage in some small way. You know, maybe, I think in the same term, he maybe thinks, you know, dressing up like a devil is totally ridiculous and all that sort of stuff. But
it might have something to do with that. I mean, with the comics, we have the fact that, you know, he becomes inspired to become a hero for hire, so he's just doing it for money.
Yeah, very different in this respect. This show, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be a different sort of motivation. It seems like it might be a bit of a revenge thing as well for how, you know, the people that did the experiment to him and everything like that. By the way, it was a brilliant Easter egg. So I don't know if you've seen it yet, but yeah, with the bracelets and stuff like that, when he comes out of this chamber. He's got the bracelets on. And he's got this like the.
Don't
crown.
Call it a tiara. Yeah,
upside down crown.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's basically how he looked at us when
I just need that. I just need that yellow shirt, man. Just need that yellow shirt. Yeah.
Get the yellow shirt. But then after that, it's just a black t-shirt that always gets ripped off in the comics. And
Well,
stuff
if I had a body like that, I'd be ripping my shirt off all the time, man. That dude's hench, man. Mike Coulter. We had our reservations with him in terms of Jessica Jones. He was a bit hit and miss, but I think he needs that. You could tell he was almost biding his time. Just like, I know I've got a series on the way, and there was almost a sense of smugness about him. Just like, just like I'll save something for that. So
it would be nice to, for him to sort of relax and sort of really get into the role now.
Yeah,
and sort of just to really see his, the proper side of his acting come out. Because like I said, we were left wanting more in Jessica.
Definitely, 100%. Yeah, Luke Cage is looking boss. When's it out, dudes?
30th of September. That's when I think all episodes come out at once as well, don't they?
Yeah.
That's
a good thing about that.
We've got to binge that, man.
Yeah.
Binge it. All right, I'll put it in the calendar. Maybe we come over and we do like a day on it. See if we got a review out like the next day. Well, I'm not going to make any promises, dude.
We might watch like 5 or 6 episodes, Alex. I'm not going to watch the entire series of a show in one day.
I feel we should watch the whole thing and drink.
No.
Come on.
Watch this space.
I'll give Becky the kid. You can find a sitter. We'll do it, man. I'll find somewhere.